Hello everybody and welcome to the ESI Digest, where we run through the biggest esports related business stories of the week. I am the sub-editor of Esports Insider, Tom Daniels, and I keep saying this every single week, but it's been another busy week in terms of sponsorships, in terms of acquisitions. So in this mini episode, what we're going to be talking about is 5 news stories. We've got Microsoft acquiring Smashgg. We've got Red Bull announcing a partnership with T1. We've also then got Ellevens also announcing a partnership with Duracell, and a collaboration between NIP and Leeds United as well is also very interesting. And then finally, we're going to round it off with Panda Global announcing their rebranding. So let's start off with Microsoft acquiring Smashgg. Now, if you don't know what Smashgg is, they were founded in 2015. They're a tournament platform, and they've mainly been used for fighting games, especially Super Mario Smash. And then since then, also like Rocket League has also been integrated into that platform, and I believe Hearthstone as well. Now, this was such an interesting kind of development throughout the week, because there was no really at the beginning an official press release. What actually happened is, if you went onto Smashgg, essentially there was a banner which said that they have been acquired by Microsoft. Later on, then Smashgg confirmed that. I know that we at Esports Insider also reached out to Microsoft, who, I'm going to just say what they had the following to say, which is on the article as well, by the way, that they are using this kind of acquisition to expand their offerings, is the quotation they did, and also to provide a key piece in that journey to innovate and accelerate their content offerings. I know from the initial reaction, it's been, I would say, more positive, but also a little bit mixed, because there is that thought in the back of people's minds. I think when you think of Microsoft and gaming in recent times, the last probably big acquisition was Mixer, and that didn't turn out the way that I think anybody expected them to do. I am a little bit more positive about what happens with Smashgg. They've kind of openly come out and said that they're going to be using this as a way of Smashgg have openly come out and said that they're going to be using this in the sense of it's business as usual, but they're going to expand their offerings and kind of grow the company through this acquisition as well. So hopefully that can kind of keep going, that can keep developing, and hopefully we can kind of see like another, well, already a big tournament platform also kind of push themselves even more. This is also great for fighting games, like I said, which is what the main platform has been used for. I think that will help a lot of esports competitions, and I think Microsoft wouldn't have gone into this if they weren't wanting to invest in it and if they weren't wanting to push it even more. And so hopefully they've learned kind of some of their lessons from the past, and that actually makes this project a little bit better. And I'm really optimistic with how this is going to go. Next up, let's talk a little bit about the Red Bull partnership with T1 Entertainment and Sports. Now, this, for me, doesn't seem as surprising. It's a major sponsorship deal. It covers all of T1's esports teams, so not just League of Legends, which people expect, but all of them. But I think the interesting part in this partnership is when they mention that T1 can also use the training facilities, which are in Austria, and I believe the other one's in California as well. It also adds T1 to Red Bull's portfolio, which also includes the likes of Cloud9, G2 on an organizational level, but then also they've partnered with countless tournaments. Red Bull has never shied from being in esports, and it seems that is continuing to go. I think that this partnership will benefit both. It will increase Red Bull's brand, and again, it's one of those where you kind of expected, when I saw this partnership, I expected this to have already happened because of Red Bull heavily invested in top tier organizations, and with T1 also having partnerships, I believe it was the likes of Nike and other, big non-endemic brands as well. I think it will be interesting to see if T1 actually takes up on the offer of using the training facilities. I'm a bit unsure, but it's also cool that the fact that you have a brand which can also offer more than just a monetary gain and just a logo on the t-shirt, but actually offers support and offers performance. Like I've said, it's a massive long-term multi-year partnership, which also highlights the fact that Red Bull believe in T1 for the long-term future, but then also T1 believes that Red Bull is actually a good partner, a good endemic partner to collaborate with, and probably there's going to be content, there's probably going to be other activations as well. So I think it's a good partnership for both brands and a good partnership for the esports industry as a whole. Sticking with partnership, we've got Ellevens Esports, which is the esports organisation owned by 38 Entertainment Group and also Welsh international footballer Gareth Bale. They have announced a partnership with Duracell, the battery company, for the 2020-21 season. Now, the reason why this is the 2020-21 season and not kind of like the traditional 1 year, 2 year deals that we see in esports is because this very much relates to FIFA and FIFA activations. Now, in football, I think, and in a few other like traditional sports, they go seasonal, which crosses years, so that's why it's 2020, 2021. What this partnership entails, from what we can see, is that there are going to be 2 kits, 11 esports kits, which are going to be integrated into FIFA, I believe, and then it's going to have Duracell sponsorship around them. I'm intrigued to see if we actually see more FIFA partnerships like this, where essentially we kind of get it a little bit when you have like #United being in FIFA 21, you can have the kits there. But actually having sponsors, digital sponsors on those kits as well, is very, very interesting and intriguing to see this kind of partnership occur. We've also then got like activations which are going to be going along with it. I believe that they've got like a 10-second video content ideas as well. This also is a significant deal for Ellevens because it gets Duracell, which is a non-endemic brand, into the esports scene a little bit more and kind of bridges that gap between non-endemic, untraditional brands, like Duracell. Duracell has very little to do with the esports industry, but actually get them teaming up, and that could be partly to do with one, that it's FIFA, so it's more of a mainstream kind of casual esport as well, I would say. But then also the fact that you've got like Gareth Bale spearheading this company as well. There's been a lot of partnership news which has come up this week, so this is our 3rd one, but again, I feel like every single partnership has their own unique take in why these are being done. And this one is, again, another football-related one, but it is Leeds United, the Premier League club, which has recently just been promoted from the Championship, partnering with Swedish organisation Ninjas in Pyjamas. Now, this is very much, again, a FIFA-related partnership with Leeds United getting promoted into the Premier League. They've also been promoted, essentially, into the E-Premier League. And so have partnered with the esports organisation, from what we can tell, to help either run or organise their esports team for the E-Premier League. There's not much other details which have been disclosed, like is the partnership going to go further than that, but we definitely know that it's centred around the E-Premier League. And I like the fact that Leeds United as a club has kind of took an established esports organisation and partnered with them instead of essentially creating, Leeds Esports. We're starting to see a lot more traditional clubs partner with more traditional esports organizations because it's easier for them and it also gains them an understanding into competitive gaming. So, for example, they then could break out and create their own Leeds Esports organisation and have that prior knowledge through working with Ninjas in Pyjamas. Like I said, there's not much more detail to that, but I'm also just quite interested whenever you see a traditional sports club and an esports organisation collaborate, and hopefully we get a few more details, and hopefully this is the start of Leeds kind of transitioning into esports, like we've seen with Wolves now, who have got a lot of esports organisations, Rocket League, FIFA, and I believe in like PUBG as well, and I might be missing one, but I think there's a few other titles as well, so I wonder if they'll be going through that route, which would also be very interesting. Our final story of this week, again, I think is a huge story for the fighting game community, really, is Panda Global, who, like I've said, have been known for being in the fighting game community, Smash being, I think, one of the major ones especially, but also Tekken and so on, have announced that they have rebranded, and they've not just changed their logo, but they've also partnered with, I believe it's CGH, which is a design firm, who has helped design and create their entire branding, their entire new logo. Now, for a bit of a background on CGH, they've collaborated with the likes of National Geographic, State Farm, the US Open, so on. So it's a major graphic design and branding firm which they have partnered with. This is a major deal in the sense of, like, we're actually seeing, Panda Global essentially being on the same pedestal of what these other non-endemic brands are, like the National Geographics, like I said, like the US Opens and vice versa. I believe that they also did some work with the Olympics at one point. So to to get them in charge means that they were very serious about the branding itself. They were very serious about how they wanted to portray themselves into the future. And personally, I really like the branding. I know obviously there's that thing of people will always maybe prefer the original branding because it's what you associate the firm with, the organization with. But I personally really like it. But that's not all that they kind of just did. They had this massive reveal ceremony on their website, which also opened up the new e-commerce store as well. And along with that, they've got new apparel, which apparently has followed guidelines by CGH as well to ensure that it kind of, again, sticks with that branding. They've got new apparel, a jersey and a jacket, I believe, is what they've come out right now. It's probably expected that there's going to be more in the future. They've also announced a new partnership as well with BenQ and the esports division. So a lot of things kind of happening at Panda Global at one time. And I wonder then if this is also Panda Global's attempt to push themselves outside of the fighting game community, like they have done in other titles as well, but establish themselves not just as what a lot of people know them as, like they're a fighting game, one of the more well-known fighting game only esports organizations, but actually make them a more of a global organization. And I think this kind of rebranding highlights that and shows that. And that's really it with all the stories which have occurred this week. There have been, I would say, more stories than I've done for working here, so I would recommend you see some of them. I know that there's going to be some major stories which I have missed out. It was so hard to pick 5, so make sure that you read any story which you're happy to read about on esportsinsider.com. This has been Tom Daniels. That was the ESI Digest, and we'll see you next week.